It is more than 3.5 decades ago that a people living at their own pace came to limelight. Dwelling on top of the Alantiga mountain, with each of the communities having variations in dialect and culture, but they are all referred to as the Koma people. When One the Move was mandated to follow the steps of those who met the least of the first to step up the mountain with a camera and revisit the Koma communities, a step over at the residence of a veteran NTA broadcaster was necessary because he saw the story of Koma when it breaks.
The story was that youth corpers discovered a hitherto unknown village called the Koma. As a staff of NTA in Yola, I needed to immediately put to lie this fallacy because they were not just discovered. We had always known about them. They had been known about since 1920s. The Koma were a factored tribe at that time. I even used to quip to people, I said, it was not a discovery because they've always been there. The example is when Mungo Park found the river, it was always there. But you cannot say Mungo Park discovered the Niger. It has always been there. So he didn't discover it. The people who lived by the Niger knew that the Niger River was always there. So the Koma people were not discovered by any Iskopa. They had always been known, they'd been factored in with regards to taxation. It's just that they had not been factored in with regards to development.
What attracts the so-called tourists and whoever is coming there is the news that these are people that are discovered. These are people that have remained originally, backward or something like, and whose culture remains untouched by whatever is the trapping of modernity. And therefore, if you want to connect to tradition, if you want to connect to the past, if you want to connect to ancient civilization, this is where to go as a tourist.
Koma people, they have a beautiful culture. When you are there, we have Koma Vomni, we have Damti, we have Vere, and we have Fulani. Some of these Koma Vomni and Koma Bear, they are up there in the mountains. So they have their own tradition. When you climb the mountain, you can be seeing the waterfalls and also their dressing. They have their own fashion, occasional fashion, that they will just use a tree. That is their own occasional fashion they use. So when you go there, there's a lot of things that you can see is attracting the tourists to come there.
Mayobelwa Sujada, revelations from the flowing rivers, rivers of milk and honey, smooth, rough, and series of difficult river crossings. From remote communities, curiosity. And a deaf, dumb, but lettered. Moving further, we experience a cordial relationship between a host and a parasite worthy of emulation. The guide, a bush wanderer, in tune with the realities of the 21st century.
After hours of driving through thick and thin with a lot of revelations about culture and nature, we arrived here at the Mayokila River. This is a major crossing to the land of the Koma people, and it is also an indication that we are getting closer to the Atlantica Mountains.
Mapio to Karalahi, then Nasrao Koma, the seat of the district head of the Koma people.
And finally, we're here, Nasarawa Koma, as it is known. 3 groups of the Koma people from the hilltop stroll down and make up this community, which is now like the biggest town as far as the Koma people are concerned. And in a jiffy, we will be trekking up there to meet the Bagi Koma. Those are the people that are still holding on to the culture of the Koma people.
Now the Atlantic Mountain looks within reach, but marks the end of the trip in a vehicle, a trek and a hop onto a motorcycle, then to the base of the Bagi Koma side of the Atlantic Mountain. It was already dusk, and the 3.5 hours climbing begins.
Here we are again climbing the Koma mountain, but this one is in the middle of the night. In fact, we're not halfway, but it is very tedious. If I want to compare it with the SUKUR mountain that we climbed, definitely this one is more tedious because the stones here are scattered. You just have to struggle, and it is also in the night you have to struggle to find out where you put your first step and then the next step.
By dawn, the sunlight shines across the mountain, and its heavens of hidden beauty is unveiled. The people of Bagi Koma village were all eyes on our flying camera, which captures the shrinking village. The gods of the village kept away from the public during the farming season, so we were only allowed to stroll by the shrine. Their barns empty. This is the peak of the farming season. But 6 years after their story came to limelight, the men in particular have abandoned the use of animal skin pans, with many denouncing the worship of the gods of the land.
The specter of civilization is a specter that is that comes with speed at times. First is wanting to let people get access to exposure, but the moment they get the access to exposure, there's a limit to which you can stop them. And that's just what is happening in Koma. Today, Koma people do not even require much campaign about modernism or modernization or about modern culture, because their own people have already been, they have within them people who are already converted to modern way of living, and they are the ones who are leading the road and changing the civilization pattern of their own people.
Among them, John, who is the head of the community. Contrarily, the women, especially the old, still use leaves and beautiful beads around their waist. Their hairs dyed pink with pipe smoke in a vogue. No matches are needed to start a fire in Koma. A piece of iron, cotton, struck against a stone knows the magic. Breakfast is served, a produce of a plantation that crisscrosses the village. At the village square, the young and the old converged. Here, a gaze from the crowd of young boys sends a message of hope, but hopelessness lurks around, as the village is yet to get the four walls of a classroom.
We that decided to stay up here, we are facing numerous challenges. We were told that we are under a government, but we are yet to see the dividend, like fertilizer for our farms. We don't get it even if it is allocated to us. Every government palliative does not reach here. We will only hear about it. But we get polio vaccines regularly, that I won't lie. We don't have roads because we are on top of the rock. Our mothers are still using leaves without clothes. We are also facing some diseases like heartburn, cough, ear disease.
Early marriage is still persist, and when expectant mothers face complications, their fate is left in the hands from above. There is no hospital in Koma. When it becomes necessary to go to the hospital with a pregnant woman, then the branches of the next tree are cut to construct a makeshift stretcher, and the treacherous parts on the mountain is the only way down, at least 2 hours to the base of the mountain. There, a motorcycle ends the task.
Amma kuna da irin itacen a je koko da sai lokacin ya faru. Emergency kenan.
We have been able, through our collaborations with partners in the Ministry of Rural Development, especially the World Bank, we have been able to partner with them to identify target areas, to be able to bring in resources and ensure that infrastructures are provided. As I'm talking to you, this administration has constructed over 348 kilometer rural roads in Adamawa State, and it's still an ongoing thing. Today we are opening up the place, the entire area, not only Koma, but if you check out the level of infrastructure and the imprint that this administration under the leadership of Right Honorable Abadi Infantry has been able to achieve there is much. We have opened up the rural access road to the area, to parts of the area, not strictly Koma, and the entire area up to Tongo. If you check the trajectory of their development before this administration came into being, this Tongo, for instance, was a local government that was established for about over 30 years ago. It remains the only local government, perhaps headquarter in this part of the world, that has remained unconnected to the national grid until we came on board. Today there is light in Tongo. Beyond the Tongo town itself, we have constructed rural roads and within the area. So much is happening, and I believe the story of the area will be changed. We are not unaware of the fact that the entire Adamawa State is in need of development. and especially the rural or deeply rural settings like Koma deserve and requires the attention of the government.
Though the festivals and sacrifices to the gods still hold, we didn't get a treat of that, but a spatial communication system passed on from generation still held sway. The children of Koma have no toys to play with, but the nature of their environment is utilized to have fun. The young boys ain't shying away from nursing their siblings, and these clearly shows a perfect division of labor as the parents take a short break at the farm. The people of Koma dwell on top of the mountain and grow their crops on its slopes. Our journey down the mountain was an eye-opener to the captivating scenes invincible in the blanket of the previous night on our way up.
Making it up and down the mountain of Koma, your heart pumps faster, you must sweat, your feet must become painful. But for the treasures up there, I will do it once again.
When we got to Koma 2, the village where most of those who left the mountain settled, I met Umar, an indigene of Koma Gbagi. We strolled to his house, proudly flaunting the impact of civilization.
Governor Yohana Madaki brought us down here. When he came, he sat down on a small stone. He told us that we are suffering up the hill. We should come down and live a normal life. Some of us came down while others maintain up there because they are yet to get help. What I got as a help was that someone came to me and took me across the country, and that opened my eyes. I later came back here and built my house. Now I'm based here with my family. The difference here is that I can drive a car while those up there cannot.
We are part of those that came down from the mountain. Where we are now is the place the government allocated for us, which is known as the Koma resettlement. We came down from the Bagi Koma hilltop where you went yesterday. We are part of those who came down when Governor Yohana Madaki went up the hills. We were part of the community leaders that met him. Since we came up there and we were convinced to come down here, since then till now, nothing has been done to better our lives. Nothing has been built. Since 1986, our wives have no hospital to deliver. They are often transported miles to Karlai Hospital, no government hospital, no school, and our children are plenty and do not go to school because there is no school. If we harvest, middlemen will come here and buy it their own price. Because the road is bad with lots of rivers to cross before you get to the market. And the places we cultivate are far away.
I can only speak for this government because I can't speak for the previous government. I believe if there's any neglect in court, as you might assume, as you might have insinuated, it's a neglect that can be consigned to the past. I believe when you go to Koma today, they are not the same Koma people that were so in court said to be discovered. They are no longer working as naked as the picture that was printed in 1985. So much has happened in terms of their civilization, in terms of changing their way of life and their living.
We need to call the corporate bodies and individuals to come to the area and invest. Leaving all the burden to the government cannot complement, because people there, they are the good people. They are also Nigerians. They are part of Nigeria, and they are the good citizens of Nigeria. They love Nigeria. All their tradition is part of Nigerian.
The mountain is not just a pyramid of stones arranged miraculously, but a haven of waterfalls and springs. We finally say goodbye to Koma, and more on the move comes your way in another edition.